Well, good morning. It's March 28th today, and it's 4 degrees centigrade and very foggy. So this is when we know that spring is here, because we get a lot of fog in the early to, well, all through spring really. But it has its own mystery, and it's a very quiet morning. That's Fort Point just in there, just out of the fog. And there's a lighthouse back in the woods there. You can't barely see it, I would think, at this point, because the fog's in the way. Anyway, welcome to spring. So, I'm pretty excited about this. Underglaze. And we're going to have so many colors to choose from. I'm going to do some big paintings, tile pieces. I want to try doing some really watercolor-like building up layers with kind of underglaze pencils in there as well. But the nice thing is, this is such a huge choice of colors. I'm really looking forward to seeing whether the colors hold up in the firings now. One layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, try and see. But the first thing, I'm going to make a little disc next to each one of these where the color is actually on a fire piece of pottery. Okay, well, I've been making a lot of test pieces using all these underglazes. So I've been working my way through it in 3 evenings, actually. It's taken quite a while. I got a lot of test pieces with 3 different clay bodies: BMX 5, Cone 6 white stoneware, and earthenware, which is number 20 from Laguna, which will be fired to cone 04 with an 01 bisque. That's the only difference. But so we've got 3 test tiles for each color, and so I'll be firing these in the next week or so. Okay, I'm sorry about the fan noise in the background. I am actually firing my new kiln for the first time, doing the Cone 022 test firing. But anyway, here's the Kiwi Underglazes, and these are on the top line is earthenware fired to cone 01 bisque 04 glaze. The line in the middle is BMX 5, and the line at the bottom is a cone 6 white stoneware. And I think you can see that the only real difference is that the top line in the colors is a little bit paler than the ones underneath. So the 2 stonewares fired to cone 4 and cone 6, almost identical. The earthenware ones at the top are a little bit lighter in color. So we'll move over to look at the next ones. I'll give you the names of the colors when I put them all on the chart. But as you can see again, the 2 bottom rows are actually almost identical. The top row is always a little bit lighter. So if you're going to do earthenware, you will find that the colors are not quite as intense, but I think they're pretty good. So I'm not even worried. I've done some earthenware pieces. I don't think I'm going to be disappointed in the final result. But it's always that the top line is a little bit paler each time. But you can see all the colors are just luscious. And that one in the middle there, the greeny grey, really has a very grey look on the top one. It's definitely green in the 2 cones 4 and cone 6 ones. The earthenware one looks a bit more greyish green. I know that the walnut brown is the one in the middle there, and look how dark it is compared to the top one. You know what I'm really impressed about? Is the purples held in all of the colors. And I remember saying in a previous video that Mason Stain once told me that they call ghostly borate, which is in all my glazes, is actually, they refer to it as ghastly borate. So anyway, as you can see, always the top row for earthenware is going to be a little paler in color, but it doesn't bother me at all. I think the colors are still really rich. So everything held up really good. Top one is earthenware. I think those are... In fact, the earthenware one looks a bit whiter. And it actually gets a little transparent. And the two, considering the bottom two are actually on white clay, and the one on the top is on red clay, and it even looks whiter. So that's the only one that's different in the whole batch. I think the white comes out a little whiter at earthenware temperatures, but the black looks identical at all three. Although I think maybe if you look at the bottom one, I don't know. I think they're all the same. I was going to say it's darker, but it's not. They're all the same. And there's my bottles, and I'm going to be putting all these color test pieces, just one of them I think, next to each color. So we'll show you that when it's done. And I'm going to throw some big red planters, so let's try that. It's not often you get to see your studio late at night when it's all dark and all my flowers are waiting for the weather to improve, and then we can put them outside because those are all geraniums and petunias. I brought some large balls over to the new studio, and I'm going to paint these in the evenings. There you go, you can see the flowers on the inside now. But I've got my underglazes there, so I'm going to set myself up on that table. Okay, this is one of my planter balls. I've allowed it to get almost dry. It's a little bit moist, I would say. There's some little bit of moisture left in the clay, but mostly it's pretty dry. So I'm going to try my first of the Kiwi Underglazes, Christmas Red, to paint some red poppy type flowers. You can see it's coming out real easy. So that's a nice consistency. So I'm just using that paintbrush. And as you can see, it's like regular paint. Sometimes underglazes can have a sort of gum in them that make them really hard to paint with. So this one is not one of those. So as I've done this video in the past, when you're painting, you use the shape of the brush to actually try and put color down without actually pulling it off as well. So you're simply doing that. I'm pressing it. Look at that, that's really good. It's not running, so that's a good sign. And they say it takes 3 coats. So I'm just going to work my way around this, painting flowers. I'm impressed. It's applying really well. Spring is coming, so it'll be very nice for my flowers that I've had in this studio all winter. Oh, I need to press that one a bit more. I get the hang of it. After you paint something a few times, you get better at it. So I'm trying to leave the shape of the brush itself. But notice how it's not running down at all, and it leaves an exact imprint of the paintbrush. That's why I've said in videos before that to be a painter, it means a lot of different things, because there's a lot of different type of painters. I mean, abstract painting, figurative, realism. I mean, things that look like photographs, but they're actually paintings. I can draw with graphite to make it look like a photograph, but I've never been as good at doing painting. You need a lot of color theory to be able to paint colors as in real life. So when I do paintings, I tend to have a more stylized approach to it. So I have not had one run straight out of the bottle all the way around, squeezing the brush down, so if it was likely to run, it would actually run. So now I'm just going to do the whole thing all over again, all the way around twice. The next color I'm going to try will be purple lilac. You have to shake these up quite a bit before you pour it out. But let's give you a look again. It's basically really nice, runny underglaze. So the gel ones actually, it's hard to get them to suck up into the paintbrush. That's why it's kind of nice that you can basically dab the brush in and it soaks right into the bristles. So it's a good idea to wet the paintbrush before you actually put the underglaze in. It helps it suck right up into the actual bristles to make a nice mark. So now I'm just going to paint the lilac flowers in between, the same type of technique, but I'll do an extra petal, I guess, in these ones. I wonder if I should, no, I'll do it the same way around. So we're going to have 5. So basically I'm just going to paint the 5 around. And we're going to do that all the way around. Next I'm going to use the lemon yellow, which is there. It's a really nice yellow. It's not, I wouldn't say it's cold, whereas lemon yellow, normally I think it's a cold yellow. So this one I think is a little warmer, which is a good thing, because I don't like my paintings to sort of shiver. I like paintings that kind of have a warmth to them. So I'm going to find spaces where I can actually paint some Black-Eyed Susan type petals. I sort of rotate the brush a little bit each time I make a petal, because that way I seem to maintain a point. There's not that much space left. I probably should have left a few more bits. And these brand new paintbrushes lose hairs. Be careful about that. Even the brand new one. So that's what I'm going to be doing all the way around, wherever I think I can squeeze one in, just by using the brush shape, rotate it a little bit, do another one, rotate it again, do another one. I seem to be able to keep that point working by doing that rotation. Otherwise it seems to flatten if I don't do that. Anyway, I'll be doing that all the way around. Okay, the lemon yellow has got 2 coats on, so before I actually get up to the 3, even though I am actually overlapping a little bit with the other flowers too here, I'm going to put a slightly warmer one called amber yellow. So we're going to try with amber yellow now over the top of that one, just to kind of warm up that yellow a little bit. So it'll just be 1 coat of this over the top. So basically the same process, shape of the paintbrush as you apply it down, and that adds up to 3 coats in each yellow area. Okay, I'm going to try the black, and I'm not sure, I think I'm going to do it with the poppies. And it's a little more runny than the other colors, so maybe I have to shake up this jar a little bit more. So my guess is it'll take at least 2 coats to get a decent black. But it isn't running once again. But I can see that it's definitely more watery than the other colors. And that could be that I didn't shake up the bottle properly. I'm being very gentle so I don't let it run down, because I've got a lot of painting in this so far. Black tends to deaden things a little bit, so I've got to be careful. And I was thinking about doing black for the Black-Eyed Susan, but I've also got the walnut brown, so I'm going to try the black and then put walnut brown over the top. I'm definitely being careful here. Because it is runnier than the others. Yeah, I got the black in a large bottle too, so it's harder to shake it up. And it may have settled out a little bit on the bottom. So I'm going to shake it a lot more next time. The color that I'm most interested in to see whether it works is the lilac purple for the little flowers, because Ghostly Borate, which is no longer available, is still one of my main ingredients for my clear glaze, and I still have quite a supply of Ghostly Borate. I also bought the substitute, so I will be changing over eventually, but my main clear glaze for earthenware and stoneware is based on Ghostly Borate. And Mason Stain Company, when I talked to them decades ago, complaining about Pansy Purple going grey, and they asked me what my glaze recipe was, and when I told them it had Ghostly Borate in it, they said, oh no, they call it Ghastly Borate because it really changes the pigments that they actually make. So I've always known that purples are a problem with my glaze. I would have liked to round a paintbrush to do this little part of the painting in, because I only have Japanese brushes at this new studio. I'm still in process of bringing things up from the other building. I hope before hurricane season this year to get just about everything that's valuable in that other studio up here. All my books, and I don't mind the equipment being down there because I've got equipment up here anyway. But before we get any big hurricanes, I'd like to think I could get anything like all my valuable notes and glaze information up here. This is March, and we're seeing all those nasty storms that they're getting down in the Midwest. I used to live in Ohio, so I know all about those. We lived in German Village in Ohio, if there's any Ohio people listening. The house number was 756 City Park in German Village, and it has a number plate that I made for that house on the front of the house. And it's right behind Max and Irma's restaurant. I used to walk right around the corner, and there it was. I don't know if it's still there. I assume it is. We also had the Mohawk Cafe. That was also very nice. Did I get them all? Don't think I missed any out. So now I'm going to try painting the black all the way around again, just so I don't get lost. I'm going to mark a bit on the back there and go around again. And then I will do the walnut brown. I'm doing the yellow flowers first, and then I'll do the red flowers. This piece is fairly dry, as I said, so the color is soaking in fairly quickly, and that's why I'm doing this on fairly dry clay, which I've actually put a layer of white slip on, so it's red clay with a layer of white slip over the surface, because I thought the colors would look much brighter on the white background. But I have left some of them red, so I can try painting right on the red clay. Be a good test for how the colors pop. Red clay is a hard colored clay to paint on. I never did like white earthenware. I tried it years ago. I just didn't like it. Okay, so now I'll do the red flowers. So there's only 2 coats that I'm doing on the black, even though they say to do 3. I would think the black should have a decent coverage. But I tell you, this is just beautiful to paint with. It's like paint, you could thin it a little bit and it'd be just like watercolors. I know I should be getting around there to that starting point. There it is. I always like to mark the board where I started. So I think now I'm going to try And I have to tell you that I am really impressed with these underglazes. It's just the best. It's like a liquid that you can just, it flows. You're on the brush, you load the brush, it doesn't drip off. And when you put it to the surface, it just flows. And that is so nice. I mean, as a painter, you don't want to have to worry about the underglaze running down or just being globby and sort of just, you know, thin and thick and not able to control that. This is just really great. So I'll continue and paint. I've got 2 more of these to paint, so there'll be 5. But I'm already I'm sold. This is a really good. And I only found these because basically, because of the tariff thing going on, I had to look for something where I wouldn't be paying 25% more. And these underglazes are priced really good. They arrive really quickly, considering they're coming from so far away, and the quality is just great. So I'm very happy. Well, I've had fun painting all of these planters and really pushed the limits. I've been piling on the underglaze, to see about the opacity and such. But I'm just still really impressed. And as you can see from the painting, it's fairly detailed and quite time consuming. I will post this video with a thumbs up for Kiwi Underglazes, and I will be buying them again. I love having all 50 colors, and as you've seen from my little setup here, I have them all kind of set up, and I'm going to be putting my color tests all on these boards so I know which color and what it will look like when it's fired. So April 9th, and my salad greens are all waiting to go in the garden, and they're pretty big, so, like 3 or 4 inches high at the moment, so